Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. GitLab CI/CD, episode 3 of 14. You have a pipeline with 20 jobs, and every single one starts by running the exact same setup command. When that setup process changes, you now have 20 different places to update, and missing even one will break your build. Resolving that repetition starts with understanding the anatomy of a CI/CD job. A job is the fundamental unit of execution in GitLab CI/CD. It is defined by a name and must contain at least one command to run. This main execution block is defined using the script keyword. The script represents an array of commands executed in sequence by the runner. If one command fails, the job stops immediately and is marked as failed. Jobs rarely run in a vacuum. They often need the environment prepared before they run, and sometimes they require cleanup afterward. This is where the before script and after script keywords come in. Consider a Ruby project. Before running your tests or executing a linter, you need to install your dependencies. You place your bundle install command inside the before script block. The runner executes this before script first. If it succeeds, the main script runs. Once the main script finishes, the after script executes. Here is the key insight. The after script runs even if the main script fails. This makes it the correct place for closing network connections, wiping temporary credentials, or cleaning up test databases. Writing that same bundle install command inside every individual test job gets repetitive fast. To fix this, you use the default keyword at the top level of your configuration file. Any configuration defined under default is automatically inherited by all jobs in the pipeline. You declare your bundle install before script once inside the default block. Now every job runs it automatically. If one specific job does not need it, you define an empty before script inside that specific job. That local definition overrides the global default. Sometimes you need a job definition in your file, but you do not want it to actually run. You might be writing a base template that other jobs will inherit from, or you might want to temporarily disable a flaky test without deleting the code entirely. You do this by hiding the job. Simply add a period at the very start of the job name. When GitLab parses the pipeline configuration, it completely ignores any job name starting with a dot. The job will not show up in the user interface, and it will not execute. As your pipeline grows, the web interface can become cluttered with dozens of individual jobs. If you have several closely related jobs, you can group them together visually in the pipeline graph. You accomplish this by naming the jobs with a shared prefix, followed by a slash or a colon. For example, if you name 3 separate jobs build/ruby1, build/ruby2, and build/ruby3, the interface will collapse them into a single drop-down group simply labeled build. Clicking the group expands it to show the individual jobs inside. This changes nothing about how the jobs execute on the runners, but it makes a massive pipeline much easier to read at a glance. A well-structured pipeline separates the setup from the execution, uses defaults to eliminate duplicated code, and relies on naming conventions to keep the visual interface strictly focused on what matters. That is all for this one. Thanks for listening and keep building.